What's up, all my musicians out there? So this is a big question I've gotten, and that is, do you listen to your own music? And the answer is, of course. Now, I know that sounds weird, especially like say if I'm somewhere and my music's playing out loud, or like say one of my roommates comes in my room and I'm listening to my own tracks. I've had some people be like, oh, dude, wait, is this your song? Like, why are you listening to your own music? And my thing is, not only is it not weird to listen to your own music, you should listen to your own music, right? For a couple different reasons. Now, going to the famous play of Romeo and Juliet, there's a very classic line from it, among all the classic lines, that, and I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, that they won't trust a chef who won't lick their own fingers, right? You won't trust a chef who won't taste their own food, right? And likewise, I feel like it's weird if I talk to a musician who's like, look, I never listen to my own music, for a few different reasons. One is, once you start touring, if like say that is your goal, and I feel like for most musicians it is to be, touring the world, performing, whether you're a DJ like myself, doing electronic music, whether you're like a singer-songwriter, so you have to perform the song vocally or with an instrument, or basically however you do it, you're gonna have to hear that song that you made hundreds, thousands of times over and over and over again. So you better like your music. Another thing, and I think this is like even a bigger point, at least for me personally, and this is just kind of my viewpoint, is when I first started making music, the main reason why I made music the way I did, which I know sounds kind of weird, but the main reason why is because I didn't hear any other songs that sounded the way my music sounded, right? So for me, I do a lot of world music combined with bass music, right? I usually say my music's like world-based party music. The idea is clubby, upbeat, think of like Vegas nightclubs or pool party style music blended with typical electronic sounds and synthesis and bass music, along with a lot of world music style instruments and just rhythms and blah, blah, blah. A lot of different elements from world music. So I've made albums, I did one that had a bunch of reggae music combined with bass music, because I'm like, you know what, I love reggae, but it would be cool to make it a little more upbeat, a little more bass, a little more rhythm and clubby type production style to make it really pop. That'd be good for like a nightclub, and I did that. There's another one I did where I combined a lot of Brazilian elements and ballet funk, Brazilian style funk, and then combine that with bass style music, right? So there's a lot of different things I did. I'm just using those two examples, but there's a lot of different tracks I start to make where I'd be like, you know what, I wish someone would make this song or this kind of song combining this, and this. And I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just make it myself, right? I even remember I did an album about the Supernatural TV show because I'm a huge fan of that TV show. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool to make some like dark, almost creepy or horror, like scary EDM. And then I was like, I'm just going to make it on my own, right? So I think the biggest thing, and I say this to a lot of musicians, is if you're not willing to listen to and even enjoy your own tracks, I think you're making it wrong. And yes, I get that maybe at first this seems weird, even borderline narcissistic, like listening to your own music. And I will say this too, for me personally, when I'm done with the song, I don't listen to it, right? It's usually like this weird kind of lag period where after a few weeks to a month-ish after I release a song or an album, that I'm almost like objectively separated from it. I'm not thinking about all the crazy little details that I'm thinking about when I'm producing it. Afterwards, then, I can kind of enjoy the song for what it is. And almost in a weird way, when I play my own music, just if I'm like, say, hanging out, I want background music or whatever, in a weird way, I'm not thinking, okay, I'm listening to my own music because I want to hear me. I think, oh, you know what, I really want to hear right now, I don't know, like a Japanese EDM song, like which I've actually made, and I'm like, oh, I'll just throw on one of my songs, right? So it's not like I'm playing it because it's mine, because I want to hear my own stuff, to kind of toot my own horn, so to speak. It's more of that I want to hear this style of music, and since I made that style of music that I'm really into, why not play, right? I obviously make the music that I personally want to hear, that I, especially when performing, want to be able to play out live. I want to be known, and I have been known as like a world music based party style DJ that blends so many different elements of typical electronic music with world music and bass music, right? So many artists sometimes think it's weird, or they almost like feel like they shouldn't listen to their own music because, again, it comes off a little bit narcissistic, which I will say in some ways I could see that perspective. I can see how it's a bit weird. Like, say, if you're in a car with a bunch of friends and they're like, yo, throw on a good banger, and you're like, oh, yo, I got this banger, listen to this song, and they're like, wait, isn't this your song? Didn't you make this? Like, you've already shown us this. So I can see that perspective. But on the other end, like I said, you absolutely should and encourage listening to your own music, because, hey, not only are you making music for other people to listen to, but at the end of the day, no matter what, you're making music for yourself, and you're making music that you personally want to listen to.